so much to deliver. So I will not have the privilege of spending so much time on pleasantries. I'll go straight to the point. Before now, I used to think that all Japanese can do is to fight Kung Fu. But now I know they have a model worthy of emulation in staff retention. I want to say that I've enjoyed the last speaker and I've gained so much. I'm sure we have all done that. I want to also appreciate all of us that are here today, because our presence here indicates that we value knowledge. And I want to say that there's no knowledge that is a waste. No matter the level of your qualifications, no matter the level of your experience, when you come to a seminar like this, you always take something home. I have started taking already. The last speaker has been able to tell us some of those things we need to do to retain our staffs. But he did not tell us how to make enough money to be able to do all those things. So what I want to say, or what I will be discussing with you, is the other side of the coin. How your business, how your school can grow in such a way that you'll be able to make enough money to do all those condolence allowance and the rest of it. Because in reality, I'll be talking from a practitioner perspective. I've been a teacher all my life. My school just celebrated 25 years anniversary. Thank you. For those of you that your school is not 25 years, I pray your school will be 25. And even before then, I've been a teacher. As I've taught in public schools. I actually retired public school to go into the private sector. So I'll be talking practical. I'm not going to rely on academics alone. There are so many things in books that when it comes to practical, what is happening, Nigerian factor, it doesn't work. So we want to see how we can, what we can do to make our schools to grow. The topic, visionary school administrator. All school administration major function is to annex the school for growth. Growth in terms of population of the school, growth in terms of resources of the school, growth in terms of infrastructure of the school, growth in terms of the income of the school. It is when all this is possible, or when we have achieved this one, then it's going to be easy for us to practice the Japanese model. But when there's no money, when the income generated is barely enough to pay house rent for those of us that are still using rented apartments and basic salary, then where do you want to get money to pay leave allowance? You see, the reality is that some of the proprietors that doesn't do this, it's not because they don't want to do it. It's because there's no resources. So that is just the reality on ground. So once again, thank you for coming. We'll just go straight to the point. The topic again is visionary school administrator. It's very important for us to know what administrator is. Administrator is the same in all sectors, whether in business or whatsoever. What we need to do is to annex our own discussion to school. Administration means a cooperative effort of a group of people in pursuit of a common objective. When we come together and we want to achieve a common objective, all what we do in that process is what is referred to administration. I take another definition. It is use of men and material resources to accomplish a purpose. This definition is given by E.N. Gladden. It's saying the same thing. The use of men and material resources to accomplish a purpose. Then L.D. White says, administration is the coordination and control of many persons to achieve a purpose. Then, bringing it to school administration now. School administration is then the management of all school operations to achieve school goals. These goals could be in form of the vision statement of the school. I'll take it again. School administration is the management of all school operations to achieve school goals. The goal could be in form of the mission or the vision statement of the school. So when we talk about administration or administrator, the function, the role, the responsibility, what the person is supposed to be doing is to bring all resources together. And what are the resources? The financial resources, the material resources available. Bringing them together in the right proportion in order to achieve the goal of your school is what is referred to as administration. Then another thing that makes some schools not to be able to go so far in terms of administration is because they don't have a clear-cut vision for their school. Some schools just believe that we are operating schools in order to teach maths and English. The vision of the school is the reason why you establish your school. Why did that? The reason why a proprietor A established his or her school might be different from the reason why proprietor B established his or her school. And this vision I'm talking about is very important. One, you as a proprietor, your vision should be at the right side of your breast. All the time you can quote it offhand. Two, all your staffs must also key into the vision. In your meetings, virtually all your meetings, you must remind them, this is why we are here. The vision is the reason why everybody is in the school. All the staff, all the cleaners, the teachers, the school manager, everybody is there because of the vision. And everybody must come together to strive to achieve that vision. I give you examples of vision. One, vision statement. One, to build a community where all children feel loved, respected, encouraged to develop to their fullest potential. That is an example. When you want to build a community where children feel loved, your curriculum should be geared towards achieving that objective. Apart from the Lagos State or national curriculum and scheme of work, you must also design a particular curriculum. That's why we have what we call blended curriculum. You take the government curriculum, then what your own vision, what you want to achieve, create a curriculum and blend it with government curriculum. You want to create a school where children feel loved and all the teachers are using BB canes. And when the students see your teacher, whether they don't wrong or not, they start shivering. Then it's contrary to the vision. So you must create your own curriculum that children will feel loved. It is not a school where children want to feel loved that they give cake, whether they are doing birthday or not, to children. So it is very important. Two, another one is a vision. Is for each child to develop a curiosity of learning, discover their interest, and grow in the love of learning. If you have a vision like this, then there must be a lot of project work. There must be a lot of inquisitive assignments. Allowing children to discover things themselves in your curriculum. because you want them to develop curiosity to learning. You must give assignments where students will go and do research. If this is the vision of your school. Another one, to equip our young people with the skills and mindset to strive and take on the world. If that is your vision, you ask yourself the question, what does the world want? You want your kids to go and take on the world. What does the world want? Bye-bye to the era of classic. The world is technologically driven now. 21st century is technologically driven. And that is why the richest people in the world are those ones that have to do with software and things like that, like Francis and the rest of them. Because that is what the world wants now. And you want your children to take over the world, then you should design your curriculum towards that area of specialization. What makes a visionary administrator? By the time we start discussing these qualities, then we start assessing ourselves. Do I have this? Do I now go and start having this? One, he must be knowledgeable about teaching and learning process and school policies. Knowledge is the first thing. You can't give what you don't have. And that is why teaching profession is not for mediocres. I tell my students, when I'm trying to preach to them against examination malpractice, that it's easy for you to get the result through the back door, but how do you defend it? You can't give what you don't have. The knowledge is more better than the certificate. Because at the end of the day, it is the knowledge that will count. So first and foremost, for you to be a visionary school administrator, you must be knowledgeable. You must study education. You want to be a proprietor, but you did not go through education courses in the university. Go and do your PhD. Get to know what you want to do. You want to employ an administrator, then that person must study education. There are so many alternative ways now of acquiring knowledge. There are so many PhD, diploma courses here and there that you can go and acquire knowledge in education. Two, you should have a strong communication and interpersonal skills. You see, when you are an administrator, you have to deal with human resources. You have to interface with the parents, you have to interface with the staffs, you have to have interface with the ministry, the contractors, everybody. So if you don't have good communication skills, then you cannot survive in that field. You must be able to talk to people in such a way that people will understand. You must not be ambiguous. You don't speak language. You see, communication is about understanding. Am I right? It's not about grammar. There was a time a missionary came from Saudi Arabia. He's an Arab, Islamic missionary. Very highly placed, respected missionary. He came from Saudi Arabia and he visited a mosque. They were having a Juma prayer there. And the imam of that mosque wanted to impress him and was speaking eloquent Arab language to do sermon and things like that. At the end of the sermon, at the end of the prayers, the Arab man asked him, all this your congregation, do they understand Arab language? He said no. He said, you have said nothing. You have said nothing. So communication is about speaking to the other person and the person understand you. It could be in form of, it could be sign language. When we were young, our parents taught us sign language. When you go to a neighbor's house with your mother and they give you food, and she look at you like this, you understand? And if you don't understand, you eat the food. Communication. It's just let the other person be communicating, understand what you are saying. So as a good administrator, you must be able to talk to people they understand. Don't be ambiguous. You don't have to speak too much grammar to a messenger to understand what you are talking about. So another good for you to be a good administrator, one, communication skill is also very important. 3, when they want to impress an African, they call you a foreman. So you believe that, yes, you have power, you can do work of 4 men. But in reality, nobody is a foreman. A good administrator must learn how to delegate. And when somebody tries to do everything by himself or herself, he ends up not doing them well. So that is another quality. So we have not been delegating. And another advantage of delegating is that when you spread a work that is supposed to be done, or that's supposed to be done by 4 people, within 4 people to do it, when somebody is absent, the 3 can manage to do it. And by giving people work, either directly or indirectly, you are training them. They are learning on the job. And it's a relief to you as the administrator, because there are so many people that can do it. So a good administrator must be able to delegate. Must be committed to the school vision. If the administrator did not believe on the school vision himself, then he has no reason of being the administrator, because all his work is to achieve that vision. Must have growth mindset. You see, we don't treat school like a business, and that is one of the reasons of stunted growth of most schools. There are areas we need to treat schools like a business. There are some areas we need to treat it like a humanitarian service. The mindset of an administrator, there should be growth. You must not remain the same thing. We must have 2 years plan, 5 years plan, 10 years plan. As an administrator, in the next 2 years, what did I want this school to be? In terms of population, in terms of facilities. All these things must be there, white and black. I have 100 students, 2021. By 2023, I want to have 200. Then you map out strategies. You don't just say with all of mouth and go to sleep. Because manners don't fall from heaven again. You have to walk. The last manna that fell, it was during the time of Jesus Christ. And since then, no manna fell again. So you have the growth mindset. Immediately you achieve that target, you set another target. And get your team, your teachers and all the other staff, and make sure that this is our target for the next 2 years. How do we go about it? You evaluate your target consecutively. Now we are 150. We have 50 to go. How do we achieve it? What do we do again? So a good administrator must have growth mindset. Must be emotionally balanced. For those of us that are practical school proprietors, administrators, we know the stress in this job. We know the stress. Managing students, managing staffs, the most difficult to manage are the drivers. For those of us that run school bus transport. We've had cases where some driver taking some children homes will park at Balaga Junction, take 2 shots, and continue his driving. We've had so many cases. They will call you that the bus has stopped working at a particular junction with students inside. When those students don't get home successfully, your mind is not at rest, that you are done for the day. Even when you are at home, your mind is not at home. So all this stress put together, the teachers will bring their own. There are parents that will also give you stress. There are parents and there are parents. So put all this together is a stressful job. But as a good administrator, you must be emotionally balanced. You must not be provoked. Some parents will come and start shouting. You are not supposed to shout in return. You are supposed to manage the situation. And after they are shouting, make them realize why they are not supposed to shout. And diplomatically make them apologize for shouting. So, as a good administrator, you must have good emotional balance. You should be fair and firm in your judgment. I said fair and firm. You must not be a push-around administrator. Some administrators, they bend like this. Some people push them like this, they bend. Push, they bend. They are always like this. And people say that he doesn't have a stand. They will know you. She doesn't have a stand. You have a policy that guarantee or that administer all your activities. Stand by that policy. And whoever is affected is affected. If you come late today, this is the penalty. If anybody comes late, then let the penalty be. But when A comes late, because it's the one that always come and carry your bag when you close, you say, okay, you can go. And B come late, you say, no, you have to face the penalty. Then you are causing problem. You will start breeding sentiment among your staff. So you be fair and fair. Fair in the sense that you must not punish people unjustly. If somebody comes late and give you a justified reason, and it's really justified, then let it go. That's being fair. And B comes late without a justified reason, let the punishment take place. That's being fair. Must possess effective teaching ability. As a school administrator, you might not be in the classroom today, but you must, it is an added advantage if you can also teach. It's an added advantage as a school administrator. Most people don't believe when I tell them I still teach up till now. And I do. When I have free period, I go, I teach. My area of specialization. My teachers are not comfortable when I tell them to give me marker I want to teach. Or Ghana, I say, no, let me teach. I'm a teacher too. And I use that to give them standard, what I want. So if you are an administrator, it is good if you can teach. And if you can teach, also find time to teach. It could be once a week, it could be twice a week. Find time to teach. And let the teacher see you teach. Must have basic knowledge of IT. This is the era in which we are now. There's no way we can devolve ourselves of technology. We all saw what happened during the time of COVID-19. And because of that, everybody has saw the need to have IT knowledge, either big or small. Thank God they are bringing that to us here. Let's take that advantage. They are already giving me a sign that I should speed up. Now I just want to start. We want to talk about 21st century strategies. SMART. The word SMART there is intentional. Smart school administration can adopt for school growth. Make your school beautiful and unique and attractive. You see, what distinguishes school A from school B, that you find that some schools are striving and doing well, and some schools are stagnant and not progressing, is what I want to discuss now. So that if you are not in that category already, then you know what to do to move to that category. If you are in that category already, you know what to do to improve. That is what this is what they say I should come and talk. All that one now preamble. So don't give me sign again. Give me. Thank you very much. Do you have them? Make your school beautiful and unique. Unique in the sense that school A must be different from school B. If a parent asks you that why should I bring my child to your school, you must have a ready-made answer. And that answer should not be we can teach maths and English very well and teach physics and chemistry, because that is what every other school does. So create a niche for your school. Have what I call a selling point for your school. And I'll give you an example of my own school. The selling point of my school is that if you bring your child to Wasla school, your child will be taught bilingual. They'll be able to read and write in Arabic and be able to read the Quran before graduation, in addition to the normal convention, maths and English and things like that. It's an Islamic school. So Muslims that want their children to be able to read and write in Arabic and know the Quran and memorize the Quran will be convinced. So it makes it a little bit different. Not all school does that. So you can decide. Some schools, it could be the structure that makes your school different. The normal L shape and U shape is what the government says, but you can deviate a little bit. And when they come to your school, they look at it, and something different from others. It could be the facilities. There's a school that what distinguished that school from the rest, I don't want to mention other schools, so that somebody will not sue me. It's chess game. Chess. Game with one player. To the extent that the children start winning international competitions for chess. And that is the selling point. And people get to know about that school. Chess. And things like the school I'm talking about. And they start bringing children. Chess. It could be French. All of us do French in our schools. But how many of our students can speak French fluently? It could be Chinese language. This is not common. And we have so many Chinese doing business in Nigeria looking for interpreters. These are unique things. Get one or two Chinese that can speak English, employ them. And tell people that if you bring your child there, they'll be able to speak Chinese in addition to all others. It's a unique selling point. So that is just one. Two. Okay, I've matched 1 and 2 together because this man is giving me high. That I should quick. 3. Employ the right staff. Train and retrain them. That has been mentioned before. I will not waste time on that. And when I say employ the right staff, employ with ability. That is the mistake some of us does. We employ with paper qualifications. This is not ministry, where your work is to be carrying 5 from one place to another. This is where you exhibit your mental intelligence. You have to assess that that person has that intelligence before you employ. As an employer of labor, I've seen so many applicants. I've seen an applicant that has a degree and cannot write simple essay that normal SS1, SS2 students that are average will write conveniently. What would they teach? What they don't know. So we employ the right persons, interview, make sure that they are competent, because it's going to determine the quality of the school. Then, after employed them, you have to train them. It's important. There's no two way about that. The fact that some, after being trained, they might move. What about by the time they are there? If it's a training that involves a huge sum of money, then you can sit down and sign a contract. After I sponsor you to go and read this course, at least you must be able to work for me for the next 5 years before you can consider leaving. But they need to be trained. Don't condone inefficiency, laziness, then reward hard work. The fact remains that 75% of our staff will want to be lazy if they have the opportunity. If there is no strict machinery, supervision, monitoring their activities, they will want to be lazy. And that is why a good administrator must be at his or her feet to ensure that the staff does their work as it should be. Have a good relationship with the operating environment, and that is, as a school administrator, you must be good to environment. Your neighbors, those people that stays or live where you establish your school, they must have good things to say about your school. There are some schools that are elitist schools that are located in a downtrodden environment, and what they do is to get quality students that will come as a border and stay in the school, and they build their fence to be as tall as this, and all the environment, they carve them away. All the environment, all they say is that the big car is just bringing children inside, and they ignore them. If you see that they like pipe-borne water in that environment, do it for them in the name of the school. Support, do humanitarian service for that environment where your school is. Let them be able to say one positive things about your school. Have a good relationship with regulatory authorities. If you're an administrator, you must know those in the ministry that supervise you. You must know the inspectors. You must know the quality assurance. You must have interaction with them. Good relationship matters a lot where you work. And that is when I was the president of NAMS, to foster that good relationship. Quality assurance director will be doing marriage for his daughter. I will be the first to be there. This relationship, we are building relationship. When our member come tomorrow and say they want to close my school, I will call her number. And she will say, oh, Alaji, don't worry. Let them go. That is relationship. So when you are a good school administrator, you must build good relationship with regulatory authority. You must also have policies. Some of our schools don't have policies. We just operate like that. We must have policies on staff and staff welfare. You must have policies on relationship with parents, school contractors, and vendors. We must have relationship with our policy on our community. Our community says that I've mentioned community. Maybe every year you want to be doing something that will be significant to your community in the name of the school. You have to tell the world those things you are doing that is good enough. You have to tell people that we are doing it. If not, Coca-Cola will still not be doing advertisement today. Why is MTN still doing advertisement today? Don't we know MTN? Talk less of our schools. So advertisement is very important. There should be a policy, and there should be a policy. Devote a target, 100,000 naira for advert every session, and decide 1 million naira for advert every session in our budget, and decide which advert will suit your school more. Adopt e-learning techniques, and that is where we are going. There is come a time where schools that doesn't use e-learning techniques will start losing students to those that are using e-learning techniques. Did we know that government has started deploying tablets to public school students today? And the teachers are already teaching them through the use of internet. The last I heard is that government is going to also provide additional 1 million target. They have given all SS3. They are providing additional 1 million so that they can start giving the SS2 downwards. And when the parents now see that this one is free, they are even using technology. This one will pay. They are using chalkboard and blackboard. Then look where your school is going. So you make hay while the sun is still shining. Then last and not the least, pray. Because with prayer, anything is possible. That's my own personal belief. I don't know about you. So you pray. When you do all these things, then still pray. And God will crown your effort with success. I want to end this program with this proverb that says, who is rushing me? Acquisition of knowledge is good, but utilization of the knowledge is the ultimate.